Yo, Vibe Tribe, what is up? We're back with another podcast today. Sitting next to me is co-host Mason Cohen.
Yo, Vibe Tribe, what is good?
And I am very, very excited to introduce to you Jose. I might need help pronouncing this last name. Azambuja.
Close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah.
All the way from Peru. Jose is a senior here at Drexel University. Ripped. You guys can't see, but he's ripped. He spent some time in the gym. He's an entrepreneur, and I'm very excited to have him on the podcast here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, dude. Appreciate it.
Of course. So, Jose, I actually tried your caffeine, the bar, the NovaBar. It was very, very good. So I would like for you to talk about that.
Sure. Yeah. So, like from the very beginning, how it came to
Yeah.
be.
So,
Yeah. So I was actually working on a separate project at the time. It was not I was in the food space, but it was more in the drink, in the drink sector, where I was working on an energy drink for students.
Okay.
Because usually the products that existed were meant for like physical activities, but if you're studying and need to focus, you don't want to feel like you're gonna jump off the walls, right? So I was working on that, and then one night I was just tired and I wanted to stay up and do some work, and I was a little bit hungry, so I didn't feel like having a meal. Or having a cup of coffee, right? So I ended up popping a caffeine pill and going to Wawa and picking up like a Cliff Bar, something like that. And I just walking through the aisles, and it just hit me an idea, like, what if I combine these two, right? That way I can get the sensation of being full without stuffing myself.
Yeah.
And getting the energy from caffeine, since I don't necessarily feel energetic from eating an energy bar, right? Like a Cliff Bar. So basically from that day, I just started to do a little bit of research as to what other sources of energy are there besides caffeine. It turns out I didn't know a single one. I had to do research. And when I asked some people, they can't offer another source of energy besides caffeine either. So that's I decided, hey, why not make like a blend of a lot of things? Since once I did the research, I found a lot of compounds. And then I was like, okay, so this is like the hook for the product, because I was already thinking of a product like from the get-go. And I was like, how am I going to deliver it to the consumer? Are they going to drink it? Are they going to eat it? And I decided, well, since I was kind of hungry, I might as well make it so that, it curbs hunger too. And that's when I decided to make it like a meal replacement energy bar, where it could have, 45 grams of carbs, 15 grams of protein, and, a healthy 12 grams of fats. So it actually does replace the macros of an actual meal. From then on, I just tweaked it. I worked with the Culinary Institute here at Drexel. They offered all of their equipment and a lot of the food ingredients for free to help me develop the product. And then from there on, I worked with the recipe expert, John, and he helped me out a lot. And then we basically tweaked it enough to where I could just run with it. Since I was completely clueless when it came to the food industry. I knew I had to make it taste good, which I didn't know how to do. So that's why I came to them. And then
how did they offer you help?
So a lot of the questions that I didn't even know how to Google, like why do we use vanilla extract in things, right? Something super simple. It's just to give the other flavors, a great intensity of flavors, which I didn't know. I was just like, questions like that that I should have known had I been in the culinary department, but I didn't. So that's why I needed them. All of the industrial equipment that they have up there, to make really big batches, and not, in my home kitchen, being also Surf Safe certified and FDA certified kitchen too helps out a lot when I'm handing out the products. So they provide a lot of advice.
Do you cook these yourself? Like, do you make them yourself?
I did. The very beginning, it was the one-man show.
Wow,
yeah,
that
just
is so cool.
Yeah, so I had CoOp. I would go to CoOp to 4 p.m. Then I would come back, use the kitchen. Once I ran out of time, I would go back home, cook almost through the night to give the bars to my CoOp coworkers for them to try, give me feedback, repeat the next day.
When they would have these bars, would they be like, okay, like what was their responses? What was their reaction?
So the very beginning, they thought it had a lot of potential, and I took that in a very positive way. So it was good, but it was not delicious. So usually, I must have done 40 different recipes where I would take their feedback, apply it the next day, cook, as long as I could, wake up, go to work, give them the bars.
But you have time to work out.
So I probably went from 5 or 6 days a week to work out down to like 1 or 2, which was extremely difficult. I had to force myself to not go to the gym. It was the biggest strain on myself because it was basically habit, right? I was breaking the habit of doing something that's good for you.
I just want to say that the story you just told about how NovaBar came to be was so inspiring because it is so like textbook entrepreneur. Like you had a problem and you wanted to create a solution. You brought in experts in other fields that could help you out because no one's an expert in everything. You used like user like feedback to kind of perfect it. Like you hit a lot of the key steps.
Yeah.
Like that's sick. I just want to say that like that's
Yeah,
like,
no, thanks. That means a lot.
You're an entrepreneur.
I don't know. I'm trying to be. I don't know if I'm there quite yet.
100%.
But I'm
100%.
trying.
You're an engineering student.
Yeah,
So you're
yeah.
studying
So I
engineering.
studied electrical engineering, all 5 years here. But I discovered like my passion for entrepreneurship, at the end of my pre-junior year.
So that was the end of your third year for people that don't know.
Yeah. So it's a 5-year program. At the end of my third year, I discovered that I wanted to do very little with engineering. I liked engineering, but I didn't love it.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that I loved business. So from then on, it was too late to switch majors, and I didn't think that I needed to in order to just self-educate myself. And so I just read the books. Afterwards, watched a lot of YouTube, a lot of the big guys. I just took a lot of advice. And then slowly worked up from there. Since I started basically below ground zero.
Mm-hmm.
Did you take any classes in the business school or the clothes school?
So I've never taken a single business class.
Really?
Or entrepreneurship class, anything, yeah.
Wow.
Damn, you're one of the coolest entrepreneurs.
No,
I
not
know.
at all. I think if I would have, I probably would have learned more, or done it faster. But I wanted to do it at my own pace.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes which was much faster than what a class could teach, and other times it was much slower. So I wanted to adapt it to my own.
That is sick.
Curve.
So you got a lot of like your knowledge from the internet, right?
Yeah.
So who name some of your favorite like people that you learned from?
Sure. A lot of them are mainstream now. One, Gary Vee's huge. I love the guy. Always listening to him whenever I get a chance. I don't watch all of his videos now. I used to back then. Now I'm too busy to watch all of his videos, which I think is great.
It's a good thing.
I think he'd be proud of you.
Yeah. Then there's like Grant Cardone, who's a big money guy.
Yep.
I learned a lot of the financial concepts of money through him. I haven't applied all of them, but having the knowledge helps. There's also an old school one, Patrick Bet David. I don't know if you guys know
I
him.
don't know.
I think that definitely rings a bell.
Yeah. He's very much on like entrepreneurship for young people. What they can do when you don't have a lot of money, how to bootstrap.
What's
how
his
to,
name?
Love that.
Patrick Bet David. He runs the Valuetainment channel on YouTube.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a. I'm
Very
definitely gonna
good.
take a
Very
look
good.
at
Yeah,
that.
he has a lot of advice for young people. Let's see. Anyone else that comes to mind? I think
Where do you go when you like want to learn something, whether that be business or do you like go listen to podcasts? You talked about YouTube.
Yes.
and internet.
NPR's How I Built This is very good.
I started listening to that. Yeah.
How I Built This is really good. I think that might be the only one that I listen to religiously every single Monday. As soon as it comes on, I'm listening.
Very good podcasts.
And my two favorite ones is Laura Bar,
Mm-hmm.
and RX Bar. The 2 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just recently watched the Instagram one, and I thought it was very cool
Very
how
good.
it started.
It is very good.
Yeah. So you're a bodybuilder. Is that you're a bodybuilder?
Yeah,
You go to the
yeah.
gym pretty often.
Yeah, I do train like a
And
lot.
that has helped with like discipline and could you talk a little bit about
Sure. Yeah,
that?
definitely. So I started weightlifting. I was very overweight as a kid. I was almost obese. And then I discovered that by doing a lot of cardio, you could lose some weight, right? Because I had zero knowledge. And I figured just cardio, right? Weightlifting wasn't in my mind at the time. And then I decided to just run every day, basically. Just do cardio every day as much as I could. And I dropped a ton of weight, too. I almost looked anorexic. I was terrible. So I dropped to maybe 80 pounds. Over, of course, like a year and a half, which was very drastic. And then I didn't like the way I looked because I was too skinny. And then I discovered weightlifting. Finally, because my dad had weightlifted, and when he was younger, he was a bodybuilder too, but he stopped. But that's when he started to show me, because I was only 14, so it's only when I was like 16, 17 that I actually started to develop an interest in bodybuilding and weightlifting. And then from then, I just really haven't stopped. I fell in love with the sport, and here I am. Usually, I'll take breaks when something really important comes up. Like the development of the bar, I had to stop for 3 weeks completely, and then the following 3 weeks, it was just once or twice a week. So it's very difficult to put it aside, but I do whenever I need to.
That's so cool. I think the great thing about whether it's weightlifting, whether for you, Zach, it's hockey practice and training, like you learn discipline, you learn time management, you learn what it means to be committed to something. Like these skills are like really important to being like to knowing yourself, and I think that like that's had to play a huge role in how like you did like research and like you stayed up late making the bars and giving them back to your coworkers. Like that discipline like is hardcore, you know.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the gym is the easiest place to do a little bit more. You know, you can always do like one more set or one more rep,
Yeah.
something like that.
Sometimes
Honestly, I always thought of it that way.
when I go to the gym and I'm out on my 10th rep, I'm like, just do 2 more. Go to
Exactly,
12. Go to
yeah.
12. You can do it. Like, what's it gonna hurt, you know? But then sometimes you gotta be realistic. That's a great point. Because sometimes when people ask, like, I play on the hockey team here at Drexel, and some people are saying, I would like to go, like, I want to go play a sport, something that they might have played in high school, but they say they don't really have enough time. And I feel like with hockey, it's given me an opportunity to, like, crack down on, like, what matters the most, and it's helped me manage my time. You know,
Yeah.
going to the rink, and whether it be going to go work out. So I definitely do think that it's helped me.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I think that reminds me of like the 80-20 rule. 20% of the work gives you like 80% of the results. So I used
Gary
to be-
Vee talks about that a little bit, right?
I think
he's
he may have. I
Yeah.
think a lot of
I
people
like
talk
that
about it. But yeah, in the gym I used to be there 4 or 5 hours and got less results. Now that I only do an hour and a half.
Oh wow.
Will you say that again?
I used to be in the gym like 4 or 5 hours at a time. I'm thinking that more was better. But then I would focus on later on once I learned about the 80-20 rule and applied it like to weightlifting. I'm only there for like an hour and a half tops.
My
And now-
roommate, Jason, he would be in the gym recently, like for 3 hours, 2 hours at a time, and then he started to talk about. He's like, when I find myself when I go to the gym for an hour or an hour and a half, literally like you just said, I get more done,
Yeah.
and I feel better than when I used to go for 2.5, 3
Yes,
hours.
absolutely,
And this was
yeah.
maybe last week, so that's why I'm like
Right,
very
yeah,
happy
yeah.
that you just said that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, less is more.
Less
as long
is-
as intensity's there, which is a standard. But yeah, I think
Definitely.
efficiency definitely is
Le-
king.
Less and also consistency. Like if you can hit the gym like consistently like 4 times a week or
Yeah.
even like 3 times a week, like you'll get results, I think.
Definitely, yeah. After 3-4 months, you'll see results within yourself. If you can make it that long, you're hooked. You want more, yeah.
So you'd say, obviously, it's a positive impact, but going to the gym and getting involved with bodybuilding, how would you say that's impacted your mindset? Entrepreneurship has a lot to do with the mindset and thinking positively and being optimistic. Would you say that could you talk a little bit about your mindset and what you kind of how you think? I wanna you're very
definitely.
interesting.
Yeah, sure. So this is something that I've thought about a lot, actually. In terms of, I think the whole game is based on mindset, especially when it comes to business and bodybuilding now that we're relating to it. So I've learned that it's small steps every single day build up to really big things. And I think that teaches you a tremendous amount of patience. Because I found what works for me in terms of bodybuilding. I'm the most patient guy in the gym. This is a 30-year game that I'll be weightlifting, and I'm willing to wait because I like the journey. But switching on to business, that was extremely difficult. Like, I wanted results now, like in a week. And that always led to disappointment. Even like 2 weeks, I could only see 1 month at a time, right? I couldn't see a year or 2 years at a time. But I knew that I could make that switch. So I basically always try to change my mindset into it's like, if I did it for bodybuilding, why can't I do it for business, right? Or entrepreneurship. So basically, I just started to convince myself that, this is a 5-year, 10-year, or 20-year game. So one day, it may be irrelevant when you look at it from a quantifiable standpoint, but overall, the progress that you would make every single day by doing that for the next 5 years, or even 2 years, would be tremendous. So basically, it's convincing myself that every step is worth it. Maybe not by itself, but the accumulation has a huge impact.
That, like the more you're speaking, the more I'm just like amazed by your mindset, because it's one thing to understand like that concept, but it's a completely other thing to be self-aware.
Yeah.
And like know like, okay, like I think this way about bodybuilding, but let me apply it to business because I'm not there yet. Like, to be self-aware and to understand that that's how your mind's thinking in that capacity, and then to actually like make those improvements is super cool. Like,
Yeah, I
I'm
totally
just super
agree.
impressed by it. Like,
Yeah,
really, really.
there's like a pretty cool like quote that I've heard like a bunch of times. I think I mentioned this before on another podcast, but like people overestimate what they can get done in like a day, but they underestimate what they could get done in a year.
Yeah,
And
completely true.
yeah, and me right now, like I'm, this is gonna bring me into like a whole different topic that I don't really want to like talk about much, but I feel like I'm just starting to really learn that this is a whole game. Like, this is a long process. It's a journey, and I haven't gotten to like the point where I'm like, okay, 30 years down the line, I think I'm just learning that. It's weird because you're there. You've developed that mindset, but I'm just feeling like I'm starting to embark on that.
Sure, yeah, but I mean, it's taken me, I think, 5 years to get there,
Yeah.
all throughout my entire college career, where I think you guys probably have a head start on me, because I was clueless my first year, second year, third.
So you're from Peru.
Yeah.
How'd you find Drexel?
So, actually, I only applied to 3 schools. One was MIT, second was Drexel, third one was Penn State. MIT was my reach school. Drexel is a school that I really liked and would be happy if I chose to go there. And Penn State was like a very safe school where I knew a lot of people and I liked the program. But I ended up getting waitlisted at MIT and then rejected, which kind of sucked.
Mm-hmm.
And then at Penn State, I wasn't feeling it too well simply because a lot of my friends at the time were going to Drexel. So I decided to like follow along a little bit, given that the fact that they have a CoOp program, that the engineering program was also really good, which at the time I really enjoyed engineering, so that's why I chose Drexel. I mean, that's why like another school wasn't too interesting to me. But then basically I just followed my friends along with the great pool that they were having with the co-ops, and that's how I landed in Drexel. Basically, it was nice. It's only an hour and a half from home. I live in North Jersey, so it's convenient to come back and forth whenever I need to.
When did you move from Peru to the States?
So I was 6 years old.
6.
I was 6 when I first moved to PA, lived there for a year, and I've been in Jersey since.
And do you ever go back to visit like Peru?
Yeah. So I used to go every other summer. Usually I would go and visit family there. But recently what we've been doing is having family come up to the U.S. where we host them. And actually, for my graduation next week on the 13th, we're having my aunt, uncle, and 2 cousins come up because they've never been to the States before.
It's really
so we're
exciting.
going to show them around a little bit, yeah, and hopefully they like it.
That's awesome. I love Peru so much. Peru has such an amazing culture, like food, drinks, the chicharrada, ceviche.
Amazing, yeah.
You gotta get out there for everyone listening and just try some Peruvian food. Really,
Very good.
It's
Highly
amazing.
recommend. Patterson, New Jersey is the spot to go.
Absolutely. I just wanted to say though, for any listeners, if you're not sure what to do in college, I know you followed engineering at first, but the one thing that I recommend about choosing business or entrepreneurship is that this is something that you can apply to any passion in life. So you can apply business and entrepreneurial skills to engineering if you want to be an engineer, or to making food replacement bars, or to creating a technology company. So like that's why I like entrepreneurship and the business major here at Drexel University.
Yeah, and like at Drexel, the entrepreneurship school it's very unique. Like the classes that I'm taking right now and in general are life courses, kind of. Like I had a course called Ready, Set, Fail, talked about that a lot. We had a course called Entrepreneurship Practice and Mindset, where they talked about mindset. It's kind of like, I'm like, how do I learn this in school? Like, this is really cool. But yeah, I think the classes that I'm taking here are definitely for like a whole broad spectrum instead of going super deep into one thing.
Right, yeah, and adding to that, that's why I think I wish I would have taken some classes in the business or entrepreneurship school, because a lot of those things are very hard to find on the internet, but it's all condensed. It just saves you so much time to be able to learn all that. But yeah.
Listen, man, you did it the most hardcore way possible.
So I want to talk a little bit about NovaBar.
Sure.
We could go back to that. So you started that a year and a half ago?
Roughly. Yeah,
roughly a year and a half
yeah.
ago. And where exactly are you at now in with the business?
Sure, yeah. So recently I started selling around 3 weeks ago, almost 4 now. The goal was to have the company up and running and profitable by the time that I graduate, which I was miraculously able to do.
Wow.
That was like the deadline,
Yeah.
and like the unmovable deadline in my mind, because I can't push back graduation.
Yeah.
So I was, 2 weeks out, but I was able to do it. I just been selling to a lot of. I probably sold a little over 1,000 bars, and basically just the gathered feedback and minimal price. It's just cost of goods. But within the last 3 weeks, I've sold probably 50 cases to friends and family.
Wow.
And then I just, Drexel purchased 100 cases to give out during finals week,
Wow.
which was really nice of them to do. And then they're working on the second order, and I will be up on the shelves at the retail locations. Hopefully, I'm also working with Hershey's to get into their incubator over at the Pennovation Center, and talking with other universities and other chains to hopefully go into their shelves, co-op stores, and other coffee shops as well.
This is really exciting. So you have the bar. Is there anything else that you're gonna do with the concept?
Sure, yeah. So this is the flagship product. There's 2 more products in the works. This is like the morning meal replacement bar. Then there is like a midday one, and then there is a nighttime one, which I think there aren't too many products on the market at all that are meant to be eaten before going to bed. Usually people say, don't eat before going to bed. Well, I think I've developed something that would be very beneficial and make yourself productive, especially if food can do something for you while you're sleeping. So there's 2 more in the works. And then, of course, there's other ideas that I'm trying to come up with in the back of my head. Always writing down ideas, yeah.
Yeah. Before a few months ago, before you had the bars like selling and stuff, Audit gave me a few samples in like Ziploc bags and like sandwich bags, and I remember trying it. I thought it was great. And then a few weeks ago, Audit showed me a case with like the bars all packaged up, and I thought it was crazy. Like it went from a Ziploc bag to literally it looked like it could be in any Target, any Wawa, any huge retailer. With the packaging is just super, super cool.
Yeah,
Amazing.
packaging was great. And I loved how it said, like, warning, this will increase your productivity.
Yeah, some catchy, dorky like that, yeah. Yeah, so that was the hardest part, actually. So I had prepped everything to place the order, because I worked with manufacturers in China to ship over the packaging for me. What took so long was fundraising. That was the hardest thing, because I didn't need too much money. I only needed around like 20,000. But getting people to separate from their dollars is very difficult. You have to really convince them, and provide a safety net of some sort. So that's the reason why it took so long to get there.
Yeah.
But then once I had the money in my hands, I was able to place the order, because I had done the graphic work already. It was done. I just needed to send it over, proof it, and then send the product back to the States.
What were like some of the biggest challenges that you overcame?
So the one that will always stick out would be having enough time to do things. And I went about it a very unorthodox way, usually not what most people say. So people like to say, oh, you need 8 hours of sleep, 7 hours of sleep, right? Don't ever mess with your sleep. I'm not a big believer in that. I think that if you need to get a lot of things done, you should be willing to stay up 3-4 nights at a time. And because I was running so short on time, especially to meet this deadline, there'd be lots of times where I would stay up 2 or 3 days in a row.
Wow.
Doing, because I was a one-man show up until like a month ago. I was doing the marketing, the product design, the product development, creating connections, finding consultants, talking to stores, talking to manufacturers in China. So I had to stay up, 3-4 in the morning to have meetings and conversations in China, and then go to class, go to CoOp, come back, make the product, test it.
Wow.
You're a beast.
You're
a beast.
You're a champion.
So the one thing that I struggled with the most was willing to not sleep. I mean, because the temptation is tremendous, especially when you're exhausted, but you want to keep working. I think.
Like, wouldn't you say at like some point that your productivity decreases while you lose sleep?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where, because I try to just basically just brute force it the entire way, as in like living off Nova bars, like chugging 3 coffees at night, anything that would get me to finish the work nonstop. I would do anything. It didn't matter. And I think it worked only because it was temporary. I couldn't keep that up, for 2-3 months. That was basically 2 or 3 week periods at the most where I would do that in order. But that was just unique to me because I really wanted to get the company up and running, by this date.
Gotta do what it takes.
Yeah.
That's inspiring.
Yeah,
That's
so
inspiring.
I don't recommend it. I probably wouldn't do it again. Now I simply outsource. If I can't do it myself, I get someone else to do it. Now that I have a team, I also, have a lot of help, and I'm not just doing it myself.
You just mentioned that you have a team. How many people are on your team?
So right now there's 4 people. So including me, there's 5. Yeah.
Very
so we
cool.
have 2 marketing guys. Then we have product development and fulfillment.
How'd you pick the people on your team?
So they actually came to me. They had originally invested and given me some money, and then that's where they left it at. But then they got really excited about the product, and then they said, "Hey, Jose, can I help somehow? I'm majoring in X, Y, and Z. Maybe I can help you." And I said, "Yeah, absolutely, please. I could use all the help that I can get." So they found me, and then from there, now we built a team.
Yeah, I just had one of the bars, and let me tell you, I feel fired up.
Yeah.
I'm very motivated. Very cool. So to usually end it off, I ask you what can we expect from you and from NovaBar in 6 months. So where will you be in 6 months?
Sure.
Or where do you hope to be?
Yeah, so definitely hope to be in every university within University City. That's the goal by the end of the summer, is to work out a contract with all of them. Every coffee shop nearby, definitely very interested in Old Nelson, Green Line, Ox Coffee, and United by Blue. And hopefully have sales start to pick up online as well. So basically just increase sales. But I want to have it available to the local market. Especially coffee shops and universities nearby, to help other people, get up in the morning and not have to deal with that morning rut of feeling tired or wanting to stay up and not feeling bad about drinking a Monster. You can simply just eat something that tastes really good, is good for you, and doesn't make you crash. So it just makes you feel really good.
That is awesome. Dude, I'm so inspired by you and NovaBar and your work ethic and mindset. Just really, really inspiring, to be honest. And guys, if you want to try the NovaBar, you can search them online at, what's the website?
So it's eatnovalife.com.
Eatnovalife.com. It'll be in the description below.
Yeah, we'll link it.
What's the Instagram handle again?
The Instagram is NovaLife Nutriments.
We'll link everything that you need to know and everything wherever you could buy NovaBar. I'm very happy with everything. Very inspiring, like Mason just said. Very inspiring. That's it from us. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you for another VyBCast soon. We out.